Hello and welcome to the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. I'm Jemma Gofton with another edition of the programme that aims to make your next cruise or holiday as problem-free and relaxing as possible. So if you have a holiday, cruise or travel related question, here's how to get in touch. To leave a question on our viewer hotline, call 0871 423 4444. Calls cost 10p a minute from a BT landline and calls from other networks and mobiles may vary. Write on our Facebook wall or tweet us, just search Holiday and Cruise Channel. Send a message through our website www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk/clinic or write to us at the Holiday and Cruise Channel, Cavendish House, Brighton Road, Liverpool, L22 5NG. Now, in today's programme, we're looking at 2 destinations in the United States of America. In the first half of the programme, we'll be looking at Scottsdale, and later on, we'll be exploring Tucson. At the heart of every great holiday is passion. A new place, a new adventure, and an even new way of expressing yourself. It's all about those special moments and creating memories that will inspire and delight you for a lifetime. Welcome to Scottsdale, a city that celebrates passion in all its forms. And here to tell us more is Julie Greenhill. Now, I have to admit, I don't even know anything about... I normally know something about something, but I don't even know what airport you'd fly to for Scottsdale.
OK, you'd actually fly to Phoenix, which is in the heart of Arizona. So we actually have one daily flight a day from London Heathrow that takes you into Phoenix. Flight time's about 10 hours. Alternatively, you can use other airlines as well via other hubs. But yeah, in the heart of Arizona. And then
how far then am I from Scottsdale? How far will it take? How long?
It will actually take you about 10 to 20 minutes to get to downtown Scottsdale. It's about 10 miles away.
Oh, so, I mean, it's not far at all, then, is it?
No.
Would you suggest grabbing a car, a hire car, or just flagging a taxi or bus?
You could do either, but I think people, if they generally want to get around, they probably would hire a car, just to give them a bit more freedom to explore the outer areas of Scottsdale as well.
But I think it's really important that people know, because I panic about hiring a car at the airport. You know, once I get into the city of Scottsdale and I get into the area, is it easy to navigate around? Am I going to be swearing a lot at a sat-nav and a passenger and children?
No, you won't. It's actually really, really easy. As I said, it will only take you about 10 to 20 minutes to get to your hotel, and it's a straight road. You can't get lost.
Okie dokie.
Or shouldn't be able to get lost.
You just preempted that because you knew my driving. And you say it's near Arizona.
It's in Arizona.
In Arizona,
yeah.
Sorry. So I'm thinking hot, desert. So what is the weather like?
In the winter, we're looking at daily temperatures of about 20 degrees centigrade, with nighttime about 6 degrees. So yeah, it's sort of sweater weather, cardigan weather. In the summer, you have the other extreme, can be as hot as 40 degrees, with nighttime temperatures of 20, and then in the spring and autumn, about 25. So really, that's probably when the UK public would probably travel, because it's nice and warm.
Yes.
Yeah, not boiling.
And is it a very busy place?
Busy.
So, you know, would you, if we went, I don't know, February half term, would I find it too busy? Is there lots of hustle, lots of bustle, too much going on, or is it just easy to get around and I'm going to love it?
It's easy to get around and you absolutely love it. It's a very chilled destination with great hotels and just very easy to navigate.
And what about, what's the draw to Scottsdale then? Is it the vibe, is it the feel, is it the food, is it the people?
All of the above.
Oh, there we go.
The draw for the UK travelling public in February, as an example, would be the heat. Because obviously for us it's really cold. So, and in the hotels and the resorts are fantastic. And you have such a wide range, again, at every price point. And it's very affordable as well.
So when we say every price point, if you were maybe having a romantic break, just the two of you, could you 5-star it, nice restaurants, just be very romantic and gorgeous and throw loads of money at it?
Yes, you could.
So what sort of restaurants are we looking at there if we were sort of really being romantic and having a nice time, just the two of us?
We have everything from very small, independently owned restaurants, very independently owned, chef-owned restaurants, so very intimate, maybe up to maybe 60, 70 seats. You have all the hotels that have their major restaurants as well. And also we have the Scottsdale waterfront it's very romantic as well. So again, at every price point.
And if you're taking the family, if you're taking the kids, you want to keep them entertained, what can we do that will keep them out of trouble?
Swimming pool. We do actually have a water park as well, so that could entertain them. We have the Musical Instrument Museum as well, which is fantastic. It's very interactive, and basically it showcases all of musical instruments actually from across the world, but children can be in there for hours just trying each one, drums, guitars, and also for the adults you've got instruments from the stars of now and of yesteryear as well, so that'll keep them entertained.
I bet that's a really quiet museum, isn't it? I've got a headache just thinking about it. And just jumping back to it being a nice romantic break, or if you're a mum and they've gone to the water park for the day and you just want a bit of me time, what about spas?
We have plenty of spas. And actually a lot of our spas, the ingredients of their massage oils is actually local. So you have some hotels that actually make their own. And in one particular property, you can actually speak to the master gardener and he'll walk you around the garden, go through the benefits of each particular plant. And then you could have a massage or a facial using that particular recipe.
And is that because the climate encourages all of these brilliant, I'm guessing aloe, that type of plants?
Yeah.
Is that because of the temperatures? Oh, how amazing. I've never heard of that before. That is unique in itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shopping. We've done spas. This is just an interview that I'm hosting now, just stuff I like. So we've done shopping. What about we've done spas. What about shopping?
Okay, well, we actually have over 2,500 shops in the whole of the Scottsdale area.
Probably just do those in half a day.
Everything from boutique-y to high-end. Different types of shopping malls as well, so outdoor shopping malls, so also indoor with over 230 stores. So again, depending on price point, how much time you wanted to spend shopping, you probably could spend maybe 2 or 3 days just doing that.
And are there any places, when we talk about shopping, I always like to go somewhere that is typical to that area, sort of like the arty centre, where you can maybe get a piece of jewellery that you'd never get anywhere else. Is there an area like that or boutiques like that?
There are boutiques like that, and they're sort of scattered over the whole region. You do have little boutique-y jewellery shops that will have jewellery that's obviously to that particular area.
And does Scottsdale have areas, sometimes they have sort of the French area and the sort of the market area. Is it split up like that, or is it all just a big melting pot and you've got to find your way around?
There is actually the old quarter, Scottsdale Old Quarter, which really is very, very central and where most things actually are, and easy to walk around. So
once you head there, you could park up, and how long would it take you a day? Would you have a day there?
You probably could have a day there.
Okay. Yeah. If we were going further afield, but using Scottsdale as a base, where can we we've done the water park, but what else can we see? Okay,
well, because of where we're situated, we are situated in the Sonoran Desert. That actually lends itself to lots of activities. So you could hike, bike, cycle. Maybe you do actually want to go horseback riding. Maybe you want to be a cowboy for the day.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah, so you could do that. Hot air ballooning. I mean, there's plenty of things that not only for adults but for children as well to keep you going.
And if you were being really organised and planning your trip well, and lots of people do this, they do plan it round, there's a wine festival or there's a music festival that I want to see. Is there anything in the diary that you should definitely plan to see? Actually, the festivals that we have, and they're year-round, they will pop up on the calendar year-round, are going to be really sort of sports, horse riding, American football. I think there was a couple of American car things as well. But generally, you can whatever time of year you go, you will find something that you'll enjoy, and there will be a festival of some description. And you mentioned the Sonoran Desert? Sonoran Desert. Sonoran Desert. That's okay, I wanted to get that right. Yeah. Is that a great place to explore? It's very big. It's very big and very wide, yeah. It actually goes from Scottsdale, Phoenix area, going all the way down into Mexico. Oh, gosh. And across into Baja California as well, so it's a huge area. That is absolutely huge. Yeah, so I guess if you explore that, do you need a guide? Probably would do, especially for the whole area. But yeah, but for the day trips of horseback riding and cycling, biking, even off-roading, you would have a guide with you anyway. Yeah, it's best to do something like that, isn't it? So we're back in Scottsdale. We're sort of planning would there be somewhere that's close by that you could have a night somewhere else, or would you just say use that as your base and keep coming back every night?
Again, it would be Scottsdale, central Scottsdale, that you would go to, that would have all the nightlife really. And there is over 80 lounges, wine bars, restaurants. So it's all in a very condensed area. As I said, you also have hotels that have their restaurants as well.
Is it quite sort of cosmopolitan when you're saying wine bars and that type of thing? Is it quite a cosmopolitan feel?
It is indeed, yeah. It is.
A bit dressier, would we say, when packing?
It can be dressy. It can be as dressy or as casual as you like it to be.
Yeah, so maybe just have a little look round and see where you want to be going. Okie dokie, we're going to have a quick break.
Okay.
Don't go anywhere, plenty more questions. Because in part 2, we'll be exploring Tucson in Arizona. But before then, we'll take a quick break. See you shortly. Welcome back to the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. It's great to have you with us. Now, in the second part of today's programme, we're talking about Tucson in Arizona. A bit off the beaten path, Tucson's unique attractions and accommodations beckon you to discover and explore. And with an exciting arts and culture scene, Tucson, a place that's authentic and comfortable. Savour the unapologetic passion for food that inspires Tucson's cuisine. An oasis from the unoriginal and pretentious, Tucson is a place that will let you be. Let Tucson inspire the free spirit in you. And still with me is Julie Greenhill. This sounds amazing. Tucson. So how do we actually get there?
Okay, so to get to Tucson, you'd actually fly from London Heathrow into Phoenix, which is 90 miles north of Tucson.
Okay, so that's a 10-hour flight again, because it's the same as Scottsdale. And then how many minutes would it take us from Phoenix?
Okay, you could either get an internal flight from Phoenix down, or you could actually pick up a car and just drive down to Tucson. It would be about 2 hours.
And what's the drive like?
Straight road.
Oh, see, this is the great thing about America, isn't it? They've not overthought it. Give us a straight road and we'll just head down it.
Yeah.
But is it scenic? Will we enjoy it?
You will enjoy it. It's desert.
Oh, I drove through a desert once, and as much as you might think it's boring, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So a nice desert drive.
Yep.
And once you've got the car, again, how easy is it for me to park at the hotel, navigate round? I don't want to be panicking where to leave it.
All of the hotels actually have car parks, so to get around, obviously you would need a car, and parking is not a problem. And there's no charge for it either, which is even better.
I perked up then.
Yes.
Because normally it sort of hikes the holiday up a little bit, doesn't it, price-wise? So we've talked about driving through a desert, and for those who've never done it or been to a desert, what's the landscape that they'll see?
Okay, so the landscape is very rugged. I think most people think of a desert as being very sandy. In Arizona, it's not. It's very rugged. Actually, a lot of plant life. We have cactus, saguaro cactus, which is the national cactus.
Will we know it when we spot it?
You probably will, because they're everywhere.
Okay. And are they sort of huge, I think they're quite scary cactuses, if I'm honest. So if we take a little guidebook or a picture, we'll spot them. And they're only in that desert, or they're indicative to that desert?
They're indicative to this particular region. And they can grow as much as 30 feet, 25 feet. You will actually see them. I mean, some of the very large ones have at least 25 arms coming off of them, and they're very prickly. So you will be able to spot them.
I guess people stop and have a quick picture with those as well,
yeah.
So we've gone through the desert, we've arrived. What can we expect on arrival?
Okay, so what you can expect on arrival and the experiences you can expect is cowboys. So people are going to come down to this particular part of the world because they want to do ranching and horseback riding.
Now, when we say ranching, is that sort of... You go, you get involved. How involved do you get?
It's up to you and up to your own ability. I mean, we have two ranches. We have the Tanque Verde Ranch and we have the White Stallion Ranch. Both very different feel. You can go to either as a beginner. So if you really want to learn how to ride, these are the people to teach you how to ride. But if you're experienced as well, they will take you out on some of the cattle drives.
Oh, so if you're learning to ride, what would your day entail? Is it a lesson with other people and an instructor?
Yep.
Where are you going?
You probably would do a trail. You would go up through the mountains. So they would, if you're a beginner, they wouldn't make you do a 4-hour trek. But again, it depends on your ability because you might learn very quickly. So they could, you know, from day 1 to day 3, you could progress quite quickly, and they could take you on a long trail.
Okay, I do quite like the sound of this actually. And what about sort of the landscape there when we've arrived? Is it, I don't know, I'm picturing it to be very cowboyish because you've said it, but I don't know. It's
very much the same. Again, we're in the Sonoran Desert, so surrounded by cactus and plant life, and I mean, it's just very, you can't really describe it, but it's just very, very different and very stunning.
And so I don't want to throw in shops and stores.
Yeah.
Is there a town that you would visit? And
the centre of Tucson has some really amazing little jewellery stores selling silver, turquoise, again very indicative to this sort of region. And we do have outlet malls as well, but really it's more about the local arts and crafts, and you can get a really good pair of cowboy boots as well.
Oh, nice. And back in fashion, so I would love some of those. And if you're experienced and you can ride, what will you take from this? I mean, I can't imagine being taken off to a cattle thing, and oh my gosh, it sounds a bit scary, but
it's not actually. It's actually really amazing. You just learn so much, and it's just the people that you meet as well.
So do you stay on the ranch?
You do stay on the ranch.
Oh, so it's sort of a whole experience.
Yes.
And how long would you stay there for?
Some people stay for a week. Some people stay for only a couple of nights. But I think once you sort of have had your fix of ranching, you tend to go back, become a repeat customer, and it's like a little family as well at these ranches.
So let's talk about a typical day on this ranch. You're probably up quite early, I would think.
Yes, because of the heat. Because obviously you don't want to be riding at midday when it's 40 degrees, especially in the heart of the summer. In fact, at that point, they wouldn't go out riding because it's probably too dangerous for the horses.
Right. So up early, out and about early.
Yeah.
So are they very long, hard days where you are exhausted at the end of it?
Yes. No, not really, actually. You do tend to get up early. You will probably have your first ride about 9 o'clock in the morning. Again, depending on experience, you could have an hour's ride. If you're a learner, you could have a 3-hour ride. Then by that point, it's lunchtime. And then they wouldn't take the horses out because of the heat. And then you'd maybe have another ride about 3 o'clock in the afternoon when it's more temperate.
Oh, and what about food? Are you fed? Are you looked after?
You are looked after.
Do you get involved in all of that, or is it we're guests?
Obviously the accommodations look after the food, so you don't get involved in the food.
Oh, so
just eat a lot.
Do we eat? Obviously,
Yeah.
I'd like that.
Yeah.
Do we sit round a campfire? That's what I want.
Do you know what? I don't know.
I'd like to sit around a campfire. So let's talk about the culture of it then, because obviously it's very important to people of Tucson that that's their culture. So what, cowboys, Indians, that type of thing, will we see?
It's where Tucson is situated. We're actually only 56 miles away from the Mexican border. And in the 1800s, actually, Tucson was part of Mexico.
Okay, so I'm trying to picture how far down it is then, yeah,
So very briefly, and then the USA, Tucson went back into the USA. So because for about 30 years it was part of Mexico, you've actually got a very large Mexican influence, both in architecture and food, together with the European influence. So it's very mixed.
And are they very passionate and proud of their heritage, I guess, because it must be quite an unusual mix. I don't think I've ever heard of such a mix.
Yeah, it is. It's a very interesting mix. And they are very proud of their heritage as well.
What else will surprise us about Tucson?
Tucson is actually the astronomy capital of the world.
I am surprised. What's the reason behind that?
They have no light pollution. So they actually have 8 observatories, so people actually study the stars in Tucson. And there are 2 observatories that you can actually do courses on. They have workshops that you can actually get involved in.
Gosh, I mean, that really is sort of sleeping under the stars out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess that must be where it comes from.
Yeah.
It's not a myth. And let's chat about cuisine as well, because when we're talking about ranching, and I'm thinking of, steaks and beans, is it that type of food, or is it a little bit more elegant?
It's a combination of the 2. The restaurants will be more elegant, but the ranches will have wholesome food. Obviously, because people are riding all day.
Yeah.
And they are very hungry by the time they get back.
And when we talk about the restaurants, they're in the centre, are they?
They're in the centre of Tucson, yeah.
And what sort of food would it be? What is typical?
Well, there is a huge Mexican influence, as we've already touched on, but also you have many small, independently owned, chef-run restaurants as well that have locally produced food and sustainable food as well. So it could be vegetarian, it's a real mix of food.
So you shouldn't be put off if you're a non-meat eater, because there are certain places in the world that, as I'm a non-meat eater, that you think, I don't think that will suit me. Best time of year to go?
For temperate weather, I would suggest maybe spring or autumn. Your temperatures are probably going to be about 25 degrees centigrade in the daytime. Summers can get really, really hot. You're probably looking about 35 to 38. In the winter, you're probably looking about 15 degrees.
And how long do you think you need to spend in Tucson to really embrace it and appreciate it?
If you're doing a ranching holiday, I would probably suggest 7 nights. If you're doing a fly drive, then maybe 2 or 3 nights, just to really experience the whole city.
And if you've done your ranch, you just fancy a night or 2 nights somewhere else, where could you head off to?
You could actually easily combine it with Scottsdale. A lot of people actually do twin centre the two together, purely because they're only 2 hours apart.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for your time. I do like the idea of a ranch holiday. It sounds amazing. Now, let me tell you about this. I tell you every time. It's our first time guide to cruise holidays, and it's absolutely free of charge. Just give us a call, 0871 423 4444. Now, calls will cost 10p a minute from a BT landline, and other networks and mobiles may vary. Don't forget, you can also ask for a copy through our website, www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk, where you can also get in touch with your questions for future programmes. That's all we've got time for on today's edition of the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. My thanks to destinations expert Julie Greenhill, and thanks to you for watching. See you next time.